Have you ever caught yourself gripping the edge of your kitchen counter just to steady yourself as you reach for a mug? Do you feel that tiny moment of panic, wondering if today will be the day your knee gives out or your hip twinges a little too sharply? Maybe you've noticed how, as the days pass, getting out of bed feels just a bit more precarious, like your legs have lost a little of their old sure-footedness. Perhaps your friends or family worry, constantly reminding you to be careful on the stairs or in the shower. But deep down, it's not just about aches or creaks, is it? It's the gnawing fear that one wrong step could change everything. Does the thought ever cross your mind? What if that next stumble isn't just a scare, but something much worse? You're not alone. You might have noticed, even among people you know, that a simple slip led to a broken hip, and life was never quite the same after. Why does it seem like, no matter how careful you are, the risk just keeps growing? Now here's where things get interesting. Because it's not always about what you aren't doing, but something you're probably already doing every single day without even realizing it. The very habits you think are helping might be quietly working against you. It sounds backwards, but the routines that feel safest or most age-appropriate could actually be sabotaging your body's strength from the inside out. What if I told you that some of your most well-intentioned actions, the ones everyone says are good for seniors, are actually making your bones more fragile? The contradiction is startling. It's not about neglect or lack of care. It's about a hidden mechanism you've never been warned about, a daily choice that's undermining your natural resilience. And the scariest part is, the more you rely on it, the more you reinforce the cycle. But you're not hearing this from just anyone. I'm here to share the reality nobody discusses at your doctor's office or in those friendly pamphlets you pick up at the pharmacy. What research shows, and what experts are finally admitting behind closed doors, is something the mainstream advice never mentions. Because the truth is, they don't want you to know how easy it is to reverse your risk if you simply understand this one daily habit. This isn't about complicated routines, expensive supplements, or secret memberships. It's about seeing through the noise and learning what actually works. You deserve the truth, the full picture, not the watered-down version. And if you stick with me, you'll get answers that could literally prevent you from becoming another statistic. Because what they don't tell you, you have way more power than you think. So here's what's coming up. There are exactly 5 of the deadliest, most dangerous daily mistakes almost every senior is making right now when it comes to hip health. These aren't minor slip-ups. They're the biggest mistakes, the silent saboteurs, the real reason why hip fractures seem inevitable for people your age. I'm going to walk you through all 5. By the end of this, you'll see exactly where things are going wrong, and more importantly, how to stop them, starting today. Imagine knowing you finally got the upper hand, instead of always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Stick around, because I promise, your understanding of bone health is about to be completely transformed. And before we dive in, let's make this a real community. If you're tired of getting generic, copy-paste advice and you want the real inside scoop, hit that subscribe button right now. This is where the truth seekers gather. People like you who don't just accept what they say at face value. Drop a comment below and type, "I want the truth," if you're ready to join us. Have you ever fallen or come close? Type 1 if yes, 2 if no. Your experience matters, and your voice could help someone else find the answers they need. We're not just sharing information here. We're building a network of people who want to thrive, not just survive. Here's the real hook. Every single mistake I'm about to reveal is worse than the last. As we count down, each one gets more surprising and honestly, more shocking. You won't look at your daily routines the same way ever again. So don't just watch passively. Participate, ask questions, and share what resonates. I guarantee, by the end of this, you'll have revelations that will change everything you thought you knew about hip safety. Ready? Let's start with the most common mistake. And don't forget, It only gets more critical from here. Most people think sitting down as much as possible is just a part of getting older, a natural protective habit. Doctors, friends, even family often encourage you to take it easy, rest your joints, and don't overdo it. Sitting becomes a sanctuary, a way to avoid fatigue and minimize the risk of falls. But here's the twist though. The more you rest, the more your bones weaken. Here's what's really happening. When you spend long hours sitting, your body interprets this as a signal that it no longer needs to maintain strong, dense bone tissue. The medical term for this is disuse osteoporosis. Studies reveal that without regular weight-bearing activity, osteoclasts, the cells that break down bone, become more active, while osteoblasts, the cells that build bone, slow down. The result? A dangerous drop in bone mineral density. Every day you wait, your bones lose crucial minerals like calcium and phosphorus, making them brittle and porous. What they don't tell you is that bone is a living tissue, constantly being remodeled based on the forces you put on it. The longer you sit, the faster you accelerate the cycle of bone loss. Over time, your skeleton becomes a fragile framework, barely able to support your weight during a sudden slip or misstep. And it's not just an abstract risk. You might have noticed more aches after standing up, or maybe your posture is starting to curve forward, making you feel less stable. I understand exactly how you feel. When every movement feels risky, it's natural to want to retreat into the safety of your favorite chair. But the reality is, this comfort is an illusion. It's quietly robbing you of your body's natural defenses against fractures. If you've been experiencing unexplained back pain, shrinking height, or slower walking speed, these are warning signs. Have you noticed yourself holding on to furniture for support, or feeling stiff when you finally stand up? These are direct signals from your body that disuse osteoporosis is setting in. But the scary part is, this is only the beginning. The next habit is even more insidious, and it's one almost everyone thinks is healthy, when, in reality, it can accelerate your risk tenfold. But wait, it gets worse. Most people don't realize that reaching for that low-fat, calcium-fortified snack every day, whether it's skim milk, fat-free yogurt, or calcium chews, isn't actually strengthening your bones the way you think. The positive reputation of these products is everywhere. For strong bones, get your calcium. Sounds like the perfect solution, right? You're doing what everyone tells you to do. But here's what's really happening. Without adequate dietary fat and vitamin D, your body can't absorb or utilize most of that calcium. The result? You might be consuming plenty, but almost all of it passes right through your system. What research shows is that calcium needs vitamin D3 for intestinal absorption and vitamin K2 to be directed to your bones instead of your arteries. Otherwise, you risk calcification, where excess calcium ends up in soft tissues, raising your risk for kidney stones and even heart disease. The contradiction is painful. You're working so hard to do the right thing, but your bones stay fragile, while your body pays the price elsewhere. Experts are finally admitting that over-supplementation without the proper cofactors is leaving seniors more vulnerable than ever. You might have noticed your doctors saying, your calcium levels look fine, but you're still struggling with bone scans that show osteoporosis or osteopenia. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. There's a reason those chewables don't give you the energy, confidence, or resilience you expect. Have you been experiencing muscle cramps, dental problems, or even strange, tingling sensations in your hands and feet? These are symptoms of calcium imbalance and deficiency in absorption, not intake. The scary part is, the next habit is one almost no one talks about, but it's undermining your bones every single night. It's not your diet. It's what happens while you sleep. But it gets worse. Think about this. Going to bed and sleeping for less than 7 hours a night is seen by many as just a normal part of aging. You shrug it off, blame it on aches or midnight bathroom trips, and tell yourself it's nothing to worry about. Here's the twist. Fragmented or insufficient sleep triggers a hormonal chain reaction that devastates your bones. What studies reveal is that poor sleep disrupts the secretion of growth hormone and melatonin, both essential for bone remodeling and repair. During deep restorative sleep, your body releases these hormones to stimulate osteoblast activity, depositing fresh bone matrix and repairing microfractures from daily wear. If your sleep is light or interrupted, this critical process is short-circuited. Chronic insomnia, your fragmented rest, also raises cortisol levels, the stress hormone, which accelerates bone resorption and suppresses new bone formation. Over time, your bones become thinner, your balance suffers, and your risk of nocturnal falls skyrockets. Time is working against you each night. You don't get enough restorative rest. If you've noticed yourself feeling more groggy, less coordinated, or more anxious about nighttime trips to the bathroom, there's a hidden reason. Maybe your legs feel weak in the morning, or you wake up with aches that weren't there the night before. These aren't just signs of getting older. They're symptoms of disrupted bone metabolism. Have you noticed your dreams feel less vivid, or that your body feels heavy and tired no matter how much you try to rest? If so, your sleep is not healing you, it's hurting you. But what's even more concerning is the next habit. Most people think it's a safe way to get around, but it may actually be training your body for disaster. But it gets worse. You probably know someone who relies on a walker or cane, even inside their own home. It feels logical. Why risk falling when you can have support? What nobody tells you is that overuse of assistive devices, especially when you don't truly need them yet, causes a dangerous feedback loop. Here's the secret. By leaning on external supports, your muscles, especially those in the hips, glutes, and core, start to atrophy. The technical term here is sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss. Studies reveal that lack of muscle activation, especially stabilizing muscles, dramatically increases fall risk, as your proprioception, your body's ability to sense its position, degrades over time. The more you rely on a device, the less your neuromuscular system works to keep you balanced. Before it's too late, you could find that your legs give way with even minor shifts because the stabilizers that once protected your hip joint are asleep. Most people don't realize that your body is like an adaptive machine. It gets better at what you do most often, and if you're always relying on external supports, your body forgets how to support itself. If this sounds familiar, you might have noticed yourself avoiding carrying things upstairs, skipping walks, or losing the confidence to walk unaided even on flat ground. I understand exactly how you feel. Cautious, frustrated, even a bit embarrassed. But every day you avoid engaging those muscles, your body loses the ability to catch itself if you trip. Have you noticed sudden loss of balance when turning corners, or a feeling of weakness when stepping onto a curb? If so, your body is sending clear distress signals. But we're still not at the worst offender yet. The next daily mistake is so common, so normalized, that almost no one questions it. Yet it's the silent root of countless hip fractures. But wait, it gets worse. Let's talk about the one thing you likely do every single morning: slipping on safe house slippers or shoes with soft, cushioned soles. It seems like the obvious way to prevent slips, right? Here's the twist. These soft-soled, non-supportive shoes are actually among the most dangerous items in your home. What research shows is that footwear lacking in firm arch support and structured heel counters actively reduces your ability to stabilize on uneven surfaces. The lack of proprioceptive feedback through the soles of your feet weakens your balance reflexes as your nervous system is deprived of sensory input. This is called reduced plantar sensory stimulation, a fancy term for your brain doesn't get enough info from your feet. The softer and looser the shoe, the less your ankle and hip stabilizers work, making a sudden misstep more likely. Experts are finally admitting that seniors wearing house slippers or ultra-cushioned sneakers are at a much higher risk for unexplained falls, which often lead directly to hip fractures. If you've noticed yourself feeling less stable in your own kitchen or bathroom, it's not your imagination. Maybe your steps feel mushy, or you have to shuffle rather than walk confidently. If this sounds familiar, it's because your footwear is undermining your balance. Have you noticed slipping on tiles or carpets, or needing to grab onto furniture when you walk from room to room? If you recognize these patterns, your shoes might be setting you up for a fall. But here's the most shocking daily mistake of all, and the one almost nobody sees coming. This one habit, disguised as self-care, might be the single biggest reason for hip fractures among seniors today. But the truth is, the daily stretching routine you've been told to do, bending, twisting, or reaching to loosen up, could be the riskiest habit of them all if done the wrong way. Stretching is praised as the ultimate way to stay limber and independent. Physical therapists, fitness gurus, and senior centers all promote daily stretches. But here's the secret: static, unsupervised stretching of the hip flexors and hamstrings, especially when done cold or without proper technique, can actually destabilize your hip joint. What's really happening is that overstretching weakens the ligaments that stabilize your femoral head, the ball of the hip joint, inside its socket. At the same time, unbalanced stretching can create microtears in the joint capsule and weaken the gluteal muscles that protect against lateral falls. Studies reveal that inappropriate stretching routines reduce joint proprioception, making you less able to sense dangerous positions. Most people don't realize that feeling looser isn't always safer. In fact, excessive flexibility without strength is a recipe for disaster. The longer this continues, the more your hip joint is left vulnerable to dislocation or sudden collapse during a fall. If you've been stretching daily and still feel wobbly or unstable, you're not alone. Maybe you notice twinges of pain or instability after certain movements. If you felt more sore rather than energized after your routine, that's your body's way of sounding the alarm. Have you noticed muscle fatigue, joint clicking, or a sense that your hips just aren't as strong as they once were? If any of this rings true, your stretching routine is likely doing more harm than good. But here's the good news. Don't despair, because you now know the 5 most dangerous hidden daily habits that are quietly raising your risk of hip fractures. And even better, you're about to learn exactly what to do instead. You don't have to accept fragile bones or constant fear as your new normal. There are practical, research-backed alternatives you can start today. No expensive treatments or scary gym memberships required. Remember, every day you make a small change, you tip the scales back in your favor. So, what are the better options? First, swap long periods of sitting for mini movements throughout the day. Set a timer every 30 minutes and simply stand, march in place, or perform a set of gentle squats holding onto a sturdy counter. This simple weight-bearing activity wakes up osteoblasts and signals your body to keep bones strong and resilient. Second, choose whole foods for calcium and bone nutrition. Think sardines, leafy greens, and eggs with the yolk for vitamin D3. Pair these with healthy fats like olive oil and avocado so your body absorbs every mineral. Third, prioritize sleep hygiene. Create a pre-bed ritual. Turn off screens, dim the lights, and set your bedroom to a cool temperature. This promotes deep, restorative sleep cycles where growth hormone can rebuild your bones. Fourth, retrain your muscles and balance. Practice standing on one foot with a sturdy support nearby, or try toe-heel walking down the hallway. If you use a cane, make sure you're also doing exercises that challenge your body's natural balance. Fifth, upgrade your footwear to shoes with firm, supportive soles and a snug fit. Ditch the slippers. Your nervous system needs that feedback from the ground to keep you safe. Within days of making these changes, you'll notice more energy, steadier steps, and fewer aches when standing up. After just a few weeks, your posture will improve, your confidence will soar, and you'll feel the difference in every movement. Imagine looking forward to getting out of bed, knowing you're building strength with every step. Picture yourself out with friends or family, moving easily and enjoying life, without the constant, nagging fear of falling. The transformation is real, and it starts as soon as you decide to break the cycle of hidden, bone-weakening habits. And the best part? You don't have to do it all at once. One small change at a time is all it takes. Each step you take, each new habit you build, creates a foundation of strength that protects you before it's too late. This isn't about perfection. It's about consistent, gentle improvement. You have everything you need to succeed. If you've made it this far, it's because you care deeply about your health and your independence. You're not someone who settles for good enough or resigns themselves to the status quo. It's not too late. No matter your age, you can build a stronger, more resilient body. You have the power to change your trajectory, starting right now. Every moment you invest in yourself is a moment you claim your future back. Your commitment inspires others. Don't forget that. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your own experience with falls, bone health, or any of these 5 habits. What was your biggest aha moment today? Which of the daily mistakes surprised you most? When you share your story, you help someone else feel less alone. This is how we build a real community, a circle of people who care enough to make a difference. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We release new insider content every week. Tips, routines, and science-backed advice you won't hear anywhere else. Don't forget to comment, "I'm taking my power back," if you're ready to make a change. Your engagement helps more people break free from hidden risks. Remember, the longer this continues, the greater the risk. But every day you participate, you grow stronger. So take this seriously. Like, subscribe, and share this video with someone you love. The truth is, your participation matters, not just for you, but for our entire community. This is more than advice. It's a movement towards safer, stronger, healthier aging for everyone. Here's what I want you to remember. You are not defined by your limitations. You are defined by your willingness to grow, to question, and to act. No matter where you are right now, you can begin building the habits that protect you before it's too late. Your future is in your hands, and you have what it takes to create it. Let this be the day you step forward with confidence, strength, and hope. You're capable of more than you know, and I can't wait to see you thrive.